Oh my God. I am shook right now. Kyle Clark here in Colorado just had an absolute masterclass on how everybody needs to be questioning Republicans this election season. He moderated the Republican Congressional District 4 debate here in Colorado, which is actually the congressional district that Lauren Boebert is in. It was incredible. It was cathartic watching this man just absolutely cook them just over and over. He just ran circles around them. Like, they looked foolish. It is insane. Okay? It's really good. You have to watch.
So just to be clear, Ms. Boebert, you blame Republican voters for the fact that you nearly lost a safe seat and not your own conduct. You didn't make any attempt to answer the actual question, which is who should be doing this? It would be an unprecedented government action. Who should go into Windsor or to Parker?
If the federal government...
When you say federal agents, do you mean just Border Patrol, just ICE, or are you talking about...
National Guard, whatever it takes.
That you wanted.
No, I did get a full House vote, and it was sent to committee.
This is going to be a long evening if you speak over the facts, okay? Do you have any evidence to support that? Because law enforcement has not put that forward. I'm just curious where you're getting that causation about it. How would that work if the National Guard or the military were to come into Douglas County where you live and start rounding people up? Mr. Holtorf, you've been interrupting people constantly. I would ask you to stop. Ms. Flora, could you please answer the question?
Yes.
Bringing an out-of-state National Guardsman or the U.S. military in Douglas County, do you feel like that would work?
Not into Douglas County.
Move on. The question was about the actual work of rounding people up in Douglas County. But we took a couple tries at that. Marshall. Ms. Boebert, this session of Congress is on track to be one of the least productive in history in terms of the bills passed. Your Republican House colleague Andy Biggs said, "We have nothing to go out there and campaign on." Another House Republican, Chip Roy, said the Republican majority does not have one material, meaningful, significant accomplishment. And that's what the Republicans are saying. What has the Republican majority in the House done about the price of groceries?
What we need to do to begin
and how does that impact food prices? I'm sorry, I'm just trying to clarify.
When we are selling our resources.
Opportunity, if you would like to answer his question, which is the number of bills you've prime sponsored that have been signed by the president.
So my Pueblo Jobs Act has been signed into law.
A number, please.
That is one.
Got it. If parents were to take your advice seriously and pull all the kids out of public schools, what would America without a public education system look like? Okay, I was hopeful for an answer about what would happen if folks followed your advice and pulled all the kids out of public schools, but we'll leave that for another conversation. You resigned your position as House Minority Leader after your drunk driving arrest surfaced this year. And my question is not about what you did while drunk, which for anybody who missed it was speeding up I-25 at 90 miles per hour so fast a trooper thought that you were trying to race him. Then you reached for your gun during the traffic stop. You asked the trooper to call the State Patrol's lobbyist. Then you asked him to keep the arrest out of the media. My question to you is about what you did while sober. You did not disclose your drunk driving arrest to your Republican colleagues when they were considering you for leader and electing you. Yeah. What does that tell voters about your judgment? Mistake not to tell your colleagues when they were considering you for leader, knowing that you had something so big and embarrassing in your recent past? Yeah. It was about the softest reference that he could have made, but do you want to talk about the theater thing?
Sure. So, Kyle, my legislative record
we're not going to do that. You had plenty of time to answer the question. You chose not to. That's fine. I just want to make sure.
And
you have apologized for the theater incident.
I certainly have.
And I just want to make sure. Did you apologize for the behavior that went on with you and your date or the vaping, or did you apologize? Or pardon me. Or did you apologize for lying to voters about what you did that night and the disrespect that you showed to service workers that night? What specifically were you apologizing for?
I don't believe there was disrespect. There were things that were absolutely taken out of context.
There's video of your interactions with service workers. I'm asking. Right. Are you apologizing for the lying to voters,
that I flipped someone off, and I did not. So I mean, I think it's been very mischaracterized. I'm apologizing for you, Kyle Clark, getting footage and releasing that. And people seeing this in a very private moment.
Certainly. It was very important to figure out whether you were telling the truth
you just had an
or whether a public
recently with
agency was lying about your conduct.
You just had an interview with CityCast Denver, and you were saying how disgusting it is to record someone without their knowledge.
Let's talk about the use of earmarks in Congress.
You did that very same thing and released it to the world.
Members request funding for pet projects. That's what an earmark is. And some Republicans have rejected that process as like wasteful and corrupt and that kind of thing. Colorado's Republican Congressman, well, former, Ken Buck, did not participate in earmarks. Retiring Republican Congressman Doug Lamborn did not use earmarks. Ms. Boebert, when you were elected to Congress, you said that earmarks were wasteful. You said they foster corruption. You said they're a way to buy votes. And then you decided to start using them, too. Ms. Boebert, you've repeatedly taken credit for projects in Colorado that you asked for funding for, but then you voted against the bill in the end. Bridge over the Roaring Fork River in Glenwood Springs, water treatment plant in Gunnison, I-70 interchange in Grand Junction. You're able to vote no and get the praise for voting no because you know that there are enough other Republicans who are willing to vote for those bills so they'll pass. My question for you is this, and just a short answer, it truly is a yes or no question. If you were the deciding vote, would you still have voted no and killed all of those projects in Colorado that you now take credit for?
Yes, and I would have worked for a process. I would have worked for a process.
You told a State House colleague who had lost his son in the Aurora Theater shooting that he needed to let go of his son's murder. You called a legislator of color buckwheat during a floor debate. You suggested that people with disabilities are like people who took the risk of running with the bulls in Pamplona. And you suggested that Ms. Boebert dresses like a prostitute. Do you regret saying any of those things? And why do you talk to people like that? I ask a question, you answer.
Please allow me to finish.
Let me just ask you. The question was, do you regret saying any of those things? And why do you speak to people that way? Do you regret saying that Ms. Boebert, a sitting Congresswoman,